Hello, I'm John Proxy on the channel John of the West, and I'm having a Hiveswap adventure. And this is the second time I've recorded this episode, because after I finished recording it, in fact, while I was recording the episode after this one, I found out that I hadn't recorded any of the game audio. So here I am again. I'm gonna have to pretend that all the things that happen I don't know are gonna happen. Anyway, maybe I should have lied, but I'm gonna look at all the things in this room and all the things in the game. Let's look at this piece of armor. Seems like someone sliced this big fella's hand off. Lucky he's a lefty, at least posthumously. So if I equip the armor, it's a little out of season. I didn't even notice his hand here, so maybe I'll find new stuff. So seems like someone sliced. Yeah, hang on. I can't grab the hand. Never mind. This is a katana. You have no idea what to do with one. Wait, maybe you will just throw it away. That's the way I phrased that was odd. This is exactly the kind of thing you wish it wasn't in your house. Why couldn't your pa just leave their regular eyes in, and also, more importantly, leave their head attached to their body? You'd like to put something in those sockets, but what? And also, wait, why do you want to do that so much? That's weird. It stopped at 11:11, and has been as long as you can. And has been as long as you can remember. You could fix it, but why bother? It's not like you're going to make a habit of strolling over to the worst room in your house to check the time. So, I'll read that first. You've never been entirely clear on what's going on in this tapestry, but it certainly looks intense. Just look at that fire-breathing serpent beast at the bottom, and that red-eyed figure on the throne. What's their deal? So the first time I saw this, which was approximately 40 minutes ago, I'll say what I said then, basically, which was, I think that this has something to do with the consorts. I actually said consoles because I got the word wrong. If you're aware of Homestuck, then you probably already know what I'm going to say, but if you're not, I'll explain. In Homestuck, there are 4 children, and they sort of go on an adventure, whatever, it's sort of computer game based. It would take a while to explain, but anyway, they each get their own world, and on each of those planets are, tasks to do, an adventure. But there's also these they all have the cute animals of one type. Like, one planet has frogs, and one planet has penguins. That's not the animals. I can't remember the animals, but why can't I remember the animals? Some sort of lizard thing. Anyway, and I was reminded of the consorts, but also each planet has a giant monster, and I can't remember the name of the big monster. They're sort of hinted at in the story as well, because on each kid has a computer. But Claire, is it Joey Claire? Joey Claire, it's 4 and 6. Has a computer, but I can't. They didn't let me look at it. But on each of the Homestuck kids' computers, they have a browser, and on that browser is an icon that depicts that giant monster, and it's the name of the monster. They just happen to each have a different browser. Anyway, I was reminded of that, but I can't remember the name of the giant monster. But, anyway, if I click on that thing over there, it makes it more obvious that I was correct in my assumption. But now it looks like I know ahead of time anyway, so. There's some games back here that I can't click on. There's this globe. I can look at it. Your partner's love of globes knows no bounds, but you don't recognise any of the continents on this one. You could have a better idea of what you're looking at if you could read the scribbly labels. Or you can make sense of it. Is the X mark? Could it indicate treasure? I can give it a spin if I like. You spin the globe and watch the white beams rake across the surface of the globe. So yeah. This, whatever it is, depicts some heroes conversing with huge monsters. Do the monsters help them? Kill them? You prefer to imagine everybody gets out okay. But life is rarely that kind. So yeah, this is pretty obviously a reference to the huge monster things, and I can't remember the name of on the Homestuck planets. What's important to note, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is in the story you can fight the monsters. They're asleep at the start of the quests, but they will kill you. They giant goddamn monsters. Instead, you've got to have a conversation with them, and they'll offer a sort of choice, and that choice will have interesting ramifications. And it's sort of, I'm being vague because 1, it's a goddamn long story, Homestuck. 2, certain aspects of the sort of meta game, or even the game itself, or not even the meta game, becomes more distance from over time, because, you know, fighting individual monsters gets less relevant when you're saving the entire existence from a time-travelling troll monster thing. It's not a troll. What is it? It's a snake thing. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I can't remember the names. I don't think that was the point you were making, John. You were making an entirely different point. Whatever. Let's move on. There's a mask. You've got nothing. You feel unqualified to comment. The very first time I've recorded this is actually the third time I've had to record this room. The first time my microphone was over there. Over there. This is, Horace, you think? You're not up on your Egyptology. It's an El Bruget, a folk art monster from Oaxaca, Mexico. I'm pretty sure I pronounced at least 2 of those words wrong then. Carved out of the wood of the copal tree, this little thing used to creep you out really bad until the babysitter suggested you learn more about it. You found out they're based on monsters an artist saw in his dreams, and ever since then he seemed a lot more friendly. So let's look at this thing here. The first time I recorded this, I just clicked on this and solved the puzzle immediately, and I was like, oh, I didn't click on all the things first. As if being dead weren't bad enough, your power replaced his eyes with some creepy glass orbs. The light refracted in their faceted stare gives you the creeps. But are you crazy? Or is there some light reflecting off his antler, too? Maybe it bears closer examination. Take a look. There's something odd about the antlers. You can't quite put a finger on it. Or can you? Maybe in a literal sense? Whoa! That sure did something. Jude, I can't make heads or tail of this thing. See, she didn't even attempt the puzzle, to be honest. She just immediately gave up. What thing? Over. I turned on the laser, but that's it. Nothing else is happening. Thought you were puzzle master. Was wrong, it seems. Over. Hold on. Over. Believe this calls for burns. McGruff crime dog experienced trouble. Unbelievable. Over. Wait. Disregard previous burn. Superior burn formulated. Ace Ventura, pet detective. Please respond device required. Over. Right, I really want to click nice try dork, but I did pretty good burn the last time, so I'm going to just continue with it. Okay, that's a pretty good burn. That was solid. You nailed me. Forgive if boundary overstepped. Have been informed mildly contentious banter, cornerstone of squad camaraderie. Over. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, how am I supposed to solve this thing? This clearly a puzzle thing that cries out to be solved. Use marbles. Over. I'm thinking as hard as I can. You know I like puzzles. I wouldn't be asking if it weren't an emergency. Actual marbles. Over. What are you talking about? Trivial, really. Over. What marbles? I don't have any marbles. You don't? None nearby. Over. No. Oops. Alright, I got an achievement here. We're missing out on several achievements. Oh, look, I can turn into a square. You are now Jude Harley. And though tonight is apparently the night you've been preparing for, laying so many preparations and countermeasures and countermeasures against, it would seem you made a rare tactical blunder. The marbles that Joey needs to disengage your strategic defense globe are here in your treehouse. Time to call for the lone gunbirds. So yeah, so is the solution to the puzzle, of course. You really committed this crucial intelligence to memory, but a truly great field commander keeps even better records. Red, green. Tactical error. Consolidated all marbles here in treehouse to prevent attic key from falling into wrong hands. Over. Additionally, forgot about doing that. Over. No cause for concern, putting top agent on it. Over. Wait, who? Did you get in touch with one of your friends, or... Oh, God. You mean one of your pigeons, don't you? Over and out. So, hang on. It says under there, monkeys control robots with their brains from outer space. I didn't click on this last time, but... Oh, hang on. I can... Oh. Your tactical escape hatch allows ingress and egress from your amazing treehouse. Let's egress. Look, If it were just your can on the line, you'd be out in that hatch, down the ladder, and blasting monsters in seconds. But Jerry's counting on you, and you've got to get a more defensible position before you can consider heroically abandoning your own. Abandoning. Abandoning is the word, John. So I didn't click on this last one. Look, it says haze, but it's in the font of mist, and it's got that island on. So let's look at this. You're probably the only kid in the school that owns one of these babies. What if those kids get stranded in the middle of the ocean? Then the joke's on them, till they starve and die. That's a quip. The chamber is empty because you observe proper flare gun safety protocols. But maybe you should load it because you've also observed some scary stuff this evening. When the heat is on from the government and you need to send in an encrypted message. Let's take a sip of Diet Cola. And read that again. Very nice. When the heat is on from the government and you need to send in an encrypted message while staying off the grid, you entrust it to one of your trained carrier pigeons, the lone gunbirds. You survey the troops, then Langley, Byers, and of course, Frohickey. He's your favourite. Dear sweet Frohickey, how you adore him. You cherish the wind he flaps. So they're from the Lone Gunmen who are from the X-Files. In case you didn't know the reference. You dropped your favourite pair of binoculars when you were retreating from the big serpent. These are actually your second auxiliary binoculars. Your Ox Nox for short. Can I pick it up? No. Your careful records of the activity of the mysterious figures you often see prowling around the woods. Joey didn't buy it, but the sudden influx of monsters may have changed her stance. This is there 12 US Congress members suspected of cult activity. There's unnatural fog right there. Burning evidence? 1945? And this is a mark for every single strange thing he sees. So that's a bit of a tree, isn't it? So this is the most interesting thing. So I'm going to do the least interesting thing first. So, your copious notes on some disreputable activities carried out by members of what can only be described as some sort of cult. You've been surreptitiously gathering intelligence on them for a good while. You've detailed some of this stuff on your sites, but with the really juicy stuff has to stay off the grid, a term you coined yourself just now. So, I can't really tell what's on these ones. There is a strange figure spotted throughout parade footage. And cover up? Maybe, okay. Scene. But these ones are kind of funny. President Clinton gives birth to Bigfoot and Bat Boy spotted at Bar Mitzvah. So this is obviously a riff on the National Enquirer, which we don't get in the UK, but I know it because of Men in Black. Also, I think it's been in other things as well. But the joke in Men in Black is that everything that happens is real, or quite a lot of it's real, or something like that. Alright, the most interesting thing is obviously this here. So this thing. Talk about an enigma. One day you'll figure out what it does, and why certain shaded characters want to get their hands on it so badly. You have some theories, of course. So yeah, what it looks like. You know those big giant monsters I mentioned earlier that are on each of those planets? Well, there's a character in Homestuck, in case you don't know. I know if you do know that, you're just hearing somebody poorly describe the plot that you know. But anyway, there's a guy called Grandpa Harley, and he's a guardian in Homestuck. He's actually, technically speaking, well, not technically at all. He's the dad of the two characters in this game. So they call him Pa, but because of shenanigans, he's also Grandpa Harley. Anyway, you can see when you go down to the bottom of his house. When you go down to the bottom of the house, it's not a game, John. It's a comic. But the comic pretends it's a game because of the way you type instructions. Anyway, when you go to the bottom, you can't go. The character can't go through the door. One of the lifts. It's a teleporter, John. It's a teleporter. Please describe what you're trying to describe. There's a teleporter that has something that looks just like that on. It's a serpent-type monster. It's got skin on. It's not a robot, but it's blocking a teleporter that could look a bit like that. Anyway, it looks like he's killed one of the monsters from the planets, even though he hasn't, because of how would that work? but timey-wimey shenanigans are afoot in Homestuck. So it kind of, yeah, it looks like that. But they weren't robots. Or were they? Anyway, this thing here looks a bit like the... There's a death clock. I don't know what it's called. I'm never going to remember. But in Homestuck, one of the characters reach what's called God tier, I think. The only way they can die is by being heroic. They can only die if it's heroic or if it's just, which is sort of a clever idea because that's how that works anyway. Or you can die in a pointless way that's sort of poignant. But generally speaking, you either die heroically or just in these sorts of stories. No one dies pointlessly in a giant RPG, right? It's always the storyline thing. Anyway, my point is that the clock goes between heroic and just like that, and when you die, really speaking, you don't die but when you die, it's either in one position, right? So like one of the characters has problems with flinging himself into heroic situations. He's like, no, you'll die. What are you thinking? But anyway, that sort of looks like that clock. It's sort of half purple and half orange. But I can't tell here. Anyway, so that looks... I can't tell if it's that at all. But it looks a bit like that. And that serpent thing, looks a bit like the monsters. I can't remember what the monsters are called. And bear in mind, I've recorded this already, right? I've done a version of this episode. And I still don't remember what the bloody giant monster things are called. Anyway. You keep smashing geodes in case they're secretly alien eggs. And if one is, well, you've already got the hammer in your hand. You'll already have the hammer in your hand, won't you? Maybe it's time to scan the airwaves again, see if you can pick up any chatter from the enemy. Only a few of these are actually liquids, and unfortunately, those are also the ones whose contents you don't precisely exactly 100% with total certainty. You're not saying some of them are urine, but you're not saying none of them are urine. The perfect place to store your flares. Well, some of them. It's also where you keep your beeper. But you really don't want to get into that right now. You've achieved the cache of flares. They're a tactical treasure. Empty, of course. You wouldn't keep it loaded. That would be incredibly dangerous. You keep the ammo, in your fireproof metal chest. You know all this, of course. You're just kind of chatting to yourself in your head, keeping things loose. Those monsters are there to scare you into making a mistake, so your best defense is an upbeat attitude. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in his relation to the foe whom he is facing. Abraham Lincoln, The Art of War. I don't think it is. But he did that in Homestuck as well. Did that a lot in Homestuck. It's gonna be saying that a lot, I imagine. These babies are pretty effective on their own, but when you combine them with your flare gun, well, that's when they really shine. Breath held, hands steady. You carefully load the flares into the flare gun. There's no going back now. The genie is out the bottle. Right, I think I've done everything. Look at that nice empty pouch. You're sure you could put some stuff in that pouch? So the first time I did this, I actually put, like, click on random stuff. There's some cat's eye. Move the cat's eye marble into the pouch. You place a yellow marble in the pouch. This stuff is all treasures, plain and simple. Let's look at it. You do a quick visual inspection and confirm the pouch contains one cat's eye marble and one yellow marble. Let's get the pouch. Wait, were those the right marble colours? On second thought, it doesn't feel right. Didn't you have a secret diagram prominently displayed somewhere to help you out with this exact problem? Yeah, it's red and green. And I get that's pretty easy to guess without even looking at the diagram because Homestuck. You take the pouch with the red and green marbles. Right. A pouch with one red marble and one green marble. Just what Joey needs. Now to get it to her. There you go. Go fly, my pretty. No! Yeah, obviously I knew that was going to happen. Sorry for hold up. Unbelievable tragic disaster. Over. Did you lose something else? Must soldier on. Making second attempt now. Over. Alright. Are you sure you're... Over. Over and out, Frohickey. Frohickey. Beautiful, sweet, precious, dear, darling, and ultimately fragile Frohickey. You were too good for this rotten, dark nightmare of a world. May the wings of chance and dream bear thee to thy rest on the white sandy shores of paradise. Frohickey. Oh, I forgot to look at this. There she blows, Harley Manor. Well, maybe only half Harley Manor, since Joey disowned the name in favour of your mother's. Look at these monsters. No eyes, no weapons, only the most rudimentary of squad-based tactical manoeuvres. This is a diversionary feint by an expendable vanguard, if you've ever seen one. The puppy castle seems fortified for the moment. You and that pup spent some time adding extra defensive implements this summer. They're holding up nicely. Oh yeah. You take another pouch from the drawer and load it with another red marble and another green marble. There we go. Soldier on, brave pigeon. Ah, you coward! Are you alright? Betrayal! Over. Abandonment! Over. The lowest, vilest cowardice! Over. Well, can't even communicate true degree of outrage! Over. Likely to jeopardize mission if emotion not suppressed! Over. Incoming! Over and out. Your hands are definitely not shaking as you pluck 2 or more marbles from their safe, cosy compartments into a drawer, and drop them into the depths of the pouch is waiting leathery maw. I love the music. Go on. I believe in you, pigeon. Could it be? Yes! Success! Jeesum Crow Byers, my boy! So brave, so true, so great! Are you actually point-blank losing your mind right now? It would maybe be kind of a relief after years of build-up, but you could have picked a better night for it. Mission accomplished! Byers, champion of champions, waiting for you in the kitchen! Why? Over? Oh! Byers has marbles required to acquire key. Over. Alright, I guess that sort of makes sense. New development. Byers being menaced. Please hurry. Over. Wait. Okay, I'm on it. Hurry, please, Joey. He's all I have left. Over and out. Let's rescue the bird. Okay. I think he's in the kitchen. Now I have to pretend I don't know the answer to this puzzle. Nice roll, though. Nice roll. Strive! So... I'm going to dance like no one's watching. Success? Pardon me, boy. Can you just give me a shine? Oh, it worked. Thrill me with the daylight. I can sort of distract him. And there. You can see that shining. Got magic spice mix. And I'm very obviously going to use the magic spice mix. Spice to meet you. Mixed success. Joey, thank you for tactically brilliant seasonings murder. Byers has payload. Repeat, Byers has payload. Thanks. Do you know how I might get him down? He seems pretty terrified. Negative, Byers simply has unfortunate mercenary streak. Should respond to enticement. Over. How do you bribe a pigeon? Sounds like a setup for riddle, or perhaps joke. Over. Bye, Jude. Over and out. So I'll just do what I did last time, which was, ooh, biscuits, eh? Oddly enough, you aren't sure these are safe for birds. After the violent strangled death of the monster, you're a little nervous about feeding things to other things at random. Maybe there's something safer around here. Like bread? Bread-like, at least. And then I tried that. The pigeon just saw you kill that monster with this stuff. There's no way he'll go for it. If Pogs are what it takes to get him off the fridge, he can stay up there. There's got to be something else around here that he'd be more into. Hang on, how did I get the piece of dialogue? Look at him. It looks like all that fracas with the monsters got him pretty shook up. You might have to find something here in the kitchen you can tempt him with. Let's befriend him. As you do not have flight capability, the pigeon remains out of reach. Maybe he needs enticing. What are pigeons like? It's empty. The food shoppers have been sporadic of late. Hang on. I can't remember what I did now. I know where the thing is. It's in the cupboard, but I had a piece of dialogue tell me it's in the cupboard, and I, for some reason, can't find that piece of dialogue. Ah. I'm reversed, aren't I, so... All you can raid from this meager cabinet is the stalest, tiniest, worst cracker. Right. Well, let's look at this stalest, tiniest, worst cracker. The stale cracker was sitting in the back of the cabinet for so long that taking it feels like robbing a museum. Still, someone might like it. Success! This little fellow, Byers, you think? Yes. You're pretty sure this is Byers. Gobbles down the stale cracker as you tuck him into your pocket. He's got a little parcel around his neck, but you're fine with letting him hold until you actually figure out what you're supposed to do with it. Okay, got the marbles. What do you want me... Do you want me to send the pigeon back? No! Over. Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to shout. Just worried. Please protect Byers. His chances of surviving return trip very remote. Over. Okay, yeah. Good point. Seems pretty dicey out there. Affirmative. Over. I'll just use these marbles or whatever then. I'll let you know how it goes. Affirmative. Good luck, sis. Over and out. And this time I won't get lost looking for the room. Ah, I went the wrong way though, so maybe I shall get lost looking for the room. I'll try not to. I might want to save my game again, but there we go. You carefully remove the marble pouch from around his neck. Believe it or not, shove the marbles into the empty eye sockets. You discard the pouch. What an evening it's been. Byers did a great job of bringing you those marbles. He can hang out in your Silodex until the opportunity for him to be useful presents itself, or until he poops too much, whichever comes first. Let's look at this. Your part... No. Let's spin this. Let's look at this. You did it! The attic key has been found! Let's take it. You got what you assume is the attic key. Got the key. Sorry, wrong voice. Got the key, heading back up to the attic now. Careful, may not be that simple. Over. What do you mean? None of this has been simple. It's been downright convoluted. Noticing hostile elements, grouping serpents, massing. Over. Oh, jeez. We'll try to back you up if possible. Remain alert, sis. Over. Always am, bro. Over and out. And with that, I'm going to save my game. You'll see lots of save games that I didn't have before. Because, yeah, I had to record this episode twice, as I said. But anyway, it's done now. And there was definitely sound this time. So, I successfully did again a thing. What? I successfully did a thing. Because I've been John Proxy on channel John West. And I've been having a Hiveswap adventure. Thank you for watching. And hopefully, I'll see you guys next time. But for now, farewell. That's quite a long ending, isn't it? I need to cut that down. Alright, bye.